Hear me, wanderer, for I shall speak, and the worlds shall listen. I have hung upon the windswept trees, and I have drunk deep from the well of knowing, and I have watched the threads of fate twist and fray across the ages. The saga I tell now is not one of glory, at least, not yet. It is the tale of the soul cast down, stripped of name and memory, condemned to rot among the dishonored dead. But the North weaves strange patterns, and even the fallen may yet rise to grasp the threads of a different fate. You stand at the threshold of the 9 realms. Before you walk them, you must remember what you are, or rather, what you were.
And with that, I present to you Architect's Exodus. Welcome to this beautifully handcrafted 120.1 mod pack that is presented by FTB. The FTB team has taken my vision of a mod pack and has made it into reality. And this is huge. So come with me as we challenge ourselves in a world full of myths and legends, as we conquer and redeem ourselves, and ultimately push our way through this Norse mythology inspired mod pack. And all we have to do is walk through this portal. And welcome to Helheim, the final destination of the dishonored dead.
Your eyes open to the reek of ash and rot, and the black breath of Helheim fills your lungs like a curse. Cold stone beneath you, slick with the filth of the grave. Your hands, scarred, broken, reeking of death. Press against the dark and push. You rise through everything in this forsaken place whispers that you should not. This is Helheim, the shore of the dishonored dead, where those judged unworthy are cast to wander for eternity. You remember nothing. No name, no deeds, no sin. Only the ache of the body that has been broken and remade by something terrible. And a fire in the blood that will not die. Divine fire. Though you do not yet know it. You are more than mortal, child. The blood of the god runs in your veins, thin and tainted though it may be. The blood alone will not free you. The spirits of the dead cling to your power even in death. Tear it from them. Drink deep of their strengths, for it was once yours to command. Hell herself bar the only gate from this place. Your mother, though she will not call you so, face her. Prove that even the condemned can still bare their teeth.
There we are. This is Architect's Exodus. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Now, you know what would be better than playing this pack alone? Playing it with friends. And if a server is what you're looking for, well, I have just the service for you. That is Ackless. As a partner with Ackless, you can use my link down in the description below, and you can get yourself 20% off of your first month. So don't forget to check out the link down in the description below, and whenever you check out, be sure to use code CHOSEN so you get yourself that 20% off. And, well, enjoy playing with your friends. Now, first thing I noticed right off the bat is we do have someone following us, which is interesting. But first thing that we need to dive into is the quest. Yes, Architect's Exodus is a story-driven, Norse-themed mod pack with plenty of options to progress across the realms based on your playstyle, which is going to be pretty awesome. You can also replay the intro. There are voice lines. There's all kinds of fun stuff. I am, like I said, super excited for this. Now, the first thing we need to challenge ourselves with is getting through the Rise from Hell. This is our first task. Basically, we need to gather some wood, but it does tell us that we have the ability to fly. And this was one of the major things I wanted. When you started this, I wanted you to feel like a god. And that is the whole point of this mod pack, is to rebuild our godhood, essentially, or at least try to. And so we can leave from this hub and we can start to do our things. For example, we need to collect some wood. And thankfully, we do have the ore excavation mod. While not super duper helpful right at the start, as you can see, I can't really mine a whole lot. It will be expandable very, very soon.
Oh, you're awake. I was starting to worry. You were lying there for so long, and you smelled really bad. I mean, you still smell bad. But at least now your eyes are open. I don't actually know what I am, but I know I'm bound to you. So, what do we do now?
What do we do now? My little pet talks to me? My little helper, I guess I should say. And I think its name is Viet? I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Perfect. After getting most of the tree chopped down, I do notice that there are some bad guys down here. Oh boy. Let's just say they do hit rather hard, so I am kind of glad that I do have the ability to fly. Now, I hope you've been enjoying this thus far, and if you have, well, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also maybe giving this video a pretty big thumbs up, maybe even commenting down below which Norse god is your favorite. Anyways, you'd be surprised at how many people actually watch that aren't subscribed, so be sure to click that, and well, let's get on with the video. Back to our quest. Okay, so this is also where we do have some built-in lore. So this is Helheim, the land of the dead. Many pray that I would rot here eternally for what I've done, but I'm not that type to wallow in despair. I'll make it back to Asgard, even if it means killing the puny gods who chose to stand in my way. This semi-spiritual incorporation I am currently has given me the ability to fly. If I could regain some more of my former strength, I can force Hell to open a path to the Bifrost. Ooh, okay, so that might give us the ability to get out of this place. Now, we do have puffish skills, which is kind of nice. This is going to be the way that we can access and do a skill tree, which is going to be really cool. So I do want to claim all of these skill points that we do get right here, as these are going to be very helpful even super early on. Now, there are gated items and there are skill progression lines that are essentially going to be locked behind getting to a certain point, and where recipes will be unlocked upon doing so, which is another really cool thing. And we also have the ability, if you do not like the little helper, to turn it off. And by the way, a little bit to note, the little helper's voice, well, it's just a pitched up version of my wife. My wife recorded all those voice lines, which I think is just absolutely adorable. Do the basics. I'll have to rely on human-made tools to acquire even the most basic resources until I can regain more of my strength. So yes, we are tasked with crafting a crafting table. So first things first, we get ourselves a crafting table. I'm going to place it down temporarily right here, and we probably also want to make ourselves a pick so that way we can gain some stone, and we need to find some stone. And our next quest does mention blackstone for a pickaxe, so there's a lot of blackstone around, so I'm gonna nab quite a bit of this. The sound that tool makes is actually kind of satisfying. Tink, 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 tink. It's rhythmic, relaxing, even not the same time to snooze, or not the time to snooze. Okay, anyways, yeah, I'm putting my little helper to sleep, apparently. And away we go with upgrading to a stone pickaxe. How mundane.
This place is really dark. It smells like... I don't have a word for it. Is dead a smell? I think dead is a smell. Stay close to me. Or, I'll stay close to you. That's probably better.
Oh boy, it's so adorable. Yeah, I mean, you better stay close. And we have some basic storage. Until I can reacquire dimensional storage, I'll need some place to put my items, and chests and barrels are definitely going to be the place for that. And we also need a furnace. The ground here smells foul and musky compared to other realms, but I can still utilize it to upgrade my tools and make some basic infrastructure. And speaking of basic tools, I'm almost positive we can make, yes, a crafting table on a stick. And that will go right into here. And then I love setting the keybind to Control and E to be able to open up a portable crafting grid. Ah, it's so nice to have. where we can now make ourselves a blackstone furnace. And there's those chests that we needed. And I think for now, setting up shop right here might be a good idea. I mean, besides the fact that these guys can, as of right now, get in here. We do get given some basic tier upgrades, which is also very nice. Immediately upgrading these to sophisticated storage chests. Now, our next major task is going to be G or harvesting. It looks like as though Helheim's connections to the world tree Yggdrasil allowed clumps of resources to appear throughout its otherwise barren landscape. I should search the skies for these resources, though they seem fairly limited here in Helheim in both quality and variety. I tap into my magical knowledge to access a few things I'll need, but only in other realms will I find superior materials and resources. And so I must look about. And I think these are what they're talking about, being in the sky. Good old classic Geors, yes. And if I remember correctly, if you're holding a pick and you right click, yes, you are basically guaranteed 4. And if you vein mine with these, yes, we get more. But can we expand our vein mine ability, our ore excavation ability? And I think we can. If you hit K, this opens up this menu, and I do have 4 skill points to use. And I think the first path to go through is to increase our ulti mine. We also get health, there's stamina, there's a whole lot that we can choose here. You can see in the skill tree, and there's an even cooler magic skill tree, which is going to be really fun to get through. I think the first thing I want to do is probably go down where we get plus health, plus stamina, +1 on our max health, and then increase our ulti mine by 8 blocks. And we also have another node right here for increasing it even further. And so now with that, I can hopefully expand and collect even more. So those nodes are quartz. This is going to be redstone. Now I also have found the iron node. And before I go exploring even further to get some other resource nodes, some things that we definitely can do, as it does tell us right here, we should definitely take advantage of our set home command. To do this, I just need to run the command /set home, and now I can type /home to get back here at any time. And here is a coal node. And I also just found a copper one. I am definitely going to need way more furnaces than this. First thing I need to get going, though, is going to be some iron, so I'll get that done, and we can toss all of this directly into our container here. But yeah, I'm going to need some more blackstone, and thankfully there's a ton of it around. So I got some more furnaces in place, but I'm thinking what could be pretty helpful is setting up some walls and maybe, I don't know, keeping the bad guys out. And this should be able to do it for the most part, I believe. So I can just add some walls along the edge, making sure there's nowhere that they can climb. I keep seeing shadowy things move in the corner of my eye. I sure hope they're just shadows. What is that supposed to mean? But anyways, I got most of the walls in. So that should protect us for the most part. I did notice too, there are these piles of remains that are nearby that are dropping all kinds of different things, like leather scrap, it looks like, paper shards, junk, and bone shards. All of this stuff seems to have some sort of use. Like we can turn this into leather, turn this into paper, and the junk, for example, looks like it even has some uses. Looks like stuff that we can do with malum. I don't know exactly how much I'm going to need for everything, so I've just started smelting sort of everything that I've gotten my hands on. And now I have some iron, which has now completed this quest, and we get a whole lot more. For our next task, though, we need to get a hold of Soulstone. Void beneath Helheim is a fragment of Ginnungagap, the primordial darkness that existed before the realms were born. Most things that fall into it will simply disappear, but an offering filled with Ender energy should be reshaped into raw soulstone. I can find Ender slime crystals within the clusters of Instone scattered throughout Helheim. Interesting, and I think that it's meaning like these, for example. These are pretty big, so if we break into these, what is going to be inside? Okay, so these are Ender slime crystal blocks. And so breaking into this, yes, these are slime crystals. Okay, so I do want to take quite a few of these. And interesting, there is Certus quartz in here also. I am going to leave that for now, but We may have to come back to that in the future. Also, we do have the ability to technically squat grow these, which is kind of cool. And then it told me to toss them into the void, in which I will do. I have a little over a stack. Throwing those into the void. Oh, and I got them back. Also, by the way, for even more, I can just turn the entire blocks here directly into them. I mean, this should provide me with a ton of the raw soulstone. Look at all of that. Oh wait, this time it actually pops up and has an animation? Okay, that's cool. Then I just need to smelt some of this. After a little bit of time, I now have processed soulstone, and that should complete this process here, and I get my first magic skill point. Ah, okay. And the only thing I think we can unlock is the one directly in the center, which is a plus 10% increase spell power, which if this is working for both magic mods like ours and also iron spells, which I know are both in here, then yes, this is quite powerful. I feel like now I'm finally getting a bit stronger, and so I should be able to equip. Yes, every being has a soul alive or otherwise. A scythe crafted with a soulstone should allow me to extract souls from the beings I kill into physical crystals. The undead's attacks may prove deadly to my weakened body. Even some basic iron armor would protect me from fatal injuries. So something I should definitely do is click on this and then hit A to add this to my bookmark tab. This will make it a whole lot easier for me to know what I need to craft. The scythe shouldn't be that difficult at all if we've already gathered all the things for it. And really, same goes for our iron armor. So now I am kitted up and ready to start taking on some of these undead. And because we have the ability to fly, we definitely have the upper hand here. So as soon as I swat them, yes. Notice we get these magical crystals that kind of cling to us. And these crystals are spirits of different types. And certain mobs, well, give certain spirits. Most of these mobs were pretty easy to take on, but oh, these dread beasts are absolutely nasty. I did notice, by the way, there are Endermen, which we definitely should try to take out. Oh man, they should drop ender pearls and stuff. I also think, though, they do drop a very special type. Yes. So these guys drop eldritch spirits, which are very specific to the Malamod. Now, I did just get another point after completing the scythe quest, and this is one I definitely want to spec into. Mobs drop extra spirits when killed. Now, other realm resources. It's time to start producing materials from other realms here in Helheim. I can crush the soft and brittle dead coral into sand, which has many uses in crafts and smelting. So for this, I'm just going to need a cutting board, it looks like, and we're also going to need a tinker's hammer to do the crushing. And yeah, we just need to crush some coral, which I think I have, yeah, quite a bit of. So if we place this down, I put coral in my offhand, I can just start crushing this into sand. Look at that. And there we go. So now we take the sand, turn it into glass, and we get into our early food. Within runewood trees, I can sometimes find cores of exposed magical tree sap, which can be stripped to expose runic sap within. This sap can provide nourishment to my wounded body, healing both mind and matter. Then it goes on to tell me that I can turn glass into bottles, and I can bottle up the sap. And I happen to have some of those exposed cores right here, and so if we craft ourselves a bottle like so, we strip these and then we click the bottle onto them. Oh, now that's such a cool effect. Wait, and this one can be done multiple times? Hold on, I've got plenty of glass. How many bottles of this stuff can we get? It looks like sometimes it just lets you keep pulling out of some of them. What? I mean, that one gave quite a few, but just like it said, we can drink these. Oh boy. And it does give us regeneration for a few seconds. For all of that resource collecting, I think it's time for us to dabble into a bit of magic. So it's now time to dive into spirit infusion. The spirit altar is the ideal crafting vessel to infuse crystallized souls into other things. This infusion has two core components, items and spirits. The main item and all spirits go into the altar, while any other items should be placed on pedestals around the main altar. Once all the required resources have been placed correctly, the altar will resonate with magical energy and begin the infusion process. And crafting this thing, well, is rather simple, so long as I've followed all of the quests prior to this. Spirit infusion complete. And we get a whole lot of stuff to help us out here. I'm going to take the Runewood pedestal. We also get 2 extra points and magic points and a boon of spirits. And I think in my personal experience, some of the best ones to get is probably the arcane spirits, just because those are typically found a lot less from all the mobs. So let's set this thing up. So this is going to go in the center, and then I am going to surround this with some pedestals on the sides here. And then on the sides, just somewhere nearby, we can place our obelisks, and these should help speed up the crafting process of the altar. After getting the altar up and running, it's time to make some soul-stained steel. Soul-stained steel is a magical metal capable of using soul energy for both offense and defense. With this, we'll be able to take on hell and her minions. This highly versatile magical metal can be created by infusing iron ingots with Soulstone and several spirits, allowing it to deal and block both physical and magical damage. Now, taking a look at the prerequisites here, soul-stained gear is going to be required, it looks like, which is definitely going to help us out to be able to make a soul steel scythe. We're also going to get some extra runes, which would be pretty nice. And we also need this in order for us to be able to obtain obsidian. So we need to get ourselves a soul-stained pickaxe. So this means we are going to have to farm away. Oh boy, farm away indeed at all of these mobs. These guys are super rough, but now that we have iron gear, we are a little bit better at this. Especially taking out these guys, which are very nasty. Ooh, and I got my first Ender Pearl. Yes. After grinding out a few of our spirits, I'm going to need Wicked, Earthen, and also Arcane for this craft. And the way that this works is when we take a look at the Spirit Infusion, you're going to notice the way that this is formatted inside of JEI. On the left-hand side is what is going to be the required spirits that are going to go into the altar with the center ingredient. And then on the side, anything that is on the right-hand side, this is going to be what goes on these pedestals. So we can place our iron inside of here. We can also click all of our spirits in the center. And then on the outside, we need to put in our Soulstone. And once we have that in, the process starts. And it is such a cool crafting operation. Just watching this happen. It's going to consume the resource and spit it out onto the ground. Very cool. Just like so. For now, I think 16 of these is going to be pretty good. So I'm going to take this, and we also get a bonus, and we get a magical skill point. I'll come back to those magical skill points later on when we get more magical. This, we have the ability to make ourselves what is essentially a diamond pickaxe. And when it comes to upgrading our gear and everything, well, we need to dabble into getting ourselves some hex ash, which is going to be an entirely different thing. Something that is really helpful when using these recipes here, instead of just adding them, just like we've done here, we can hit this bookmark, this recipe tab. And when you do this, you can hold shift over here so you don't have to click into the recipe over and over again to see what ingredients are required. Now, hex ash is requiring charcoal dust and amethyst dust. And we have tons of amethyst laying around. And just like we did to the coral, to be able to get the charcoal dust, I'm going to have to break down our shards, and we're also going to have to place in the amethyst here and break it down. So I'll throw in some arcane spirits and charcoal dust and let this process start, just like all of them. It is a little bit timely, I will say, doing all of these crafts, but thankfully we were given these runewood obelisks, which do make it go a little bit faster. And I think you can have up to like 4 of them per setup, so down the road we can craft more of these. I think the first one I should make as far as upgrading our gear is definitely the scythe, so that way I can farm even more of these spirits, because spirits are going to be very useful, especially kind of getting us out of this, well, hell hole, I guess you could say. Yes, exactly what this place is. And There's our upgraded scythe. For all of the gear, we're also going to need some twisted rock. Man, these animations are so cool. And all together, the twisted, we need some soulstone. The hardest thing to get, in my opinion, the soul steel plating. And then all of the spirits is going to be required for crafting all of these, which we can go ahead and get all placed in. Now, because my gear has already taken a beating, I don't really want to use this, so I'm probably just going to craft a new set. But I tell you, this gear is 100% worth crafting. This is going to be incredibly helpful. It may seem like it is a suggested quest, but it is suggested for a reason. This right here is like the foundation of this entire mod. And there's our final piece of gear. And so with all of this together, it looks like this when it's on. Yes, very fancy. Now we also get this very special sort of armor bar that is slowly building up. And this shield is called Soul Ward. With the quest complete, we also get these twisted runestones, which is going to be incredibly helpful, allowing us to get Unbreaking 2 onto our equipment. And this also means just by applying this later on down the road, there we go, we have that on there. And cool part is we can re-infuse these with Unbreaking. So we can always have, like down the road, we can always have at least Unbreaking 2 on anything we make. With our gear sorted out, I think it's time to tie everything together. And to do this, we must take our new pickaxe upgrade and farm some obsidian. And over in the lava quest, it tells us that we can use a nature's compass to find a very specific biome, aka the Crystal Peaks. And we should find a ton of obsidian there. So by using a nature's compass and searching Crystal Peaks, it should point us in the right direction. And so off we go exploring, and well, we can see some other less fortunate foes. Oh boy, have made it here. But I think if I just keep heading in this direction, I should be safe. And I think this is it. Oh, this definitely looks, yes, obsidian and Crystal Peaks. It is quite pretty here. All I need to do, though, is vein mine up some of this obsidian. Or, I guess, ulti-mine it up. So, yes, once we have a little bit of this, and I also might grab some of that crying obsidian, because why not? I think we'll be doing pretty good for ourselves. Let's see, if I take that, Ice Bucket Challenge, and our pickaxe is ready. And this technically unlocks something really cool. And what it unlocks is energy matter covalence. Yes, EMC. And our first major step into Project E. And in my opinion, a very much magical mod. But we don't get anything fancy like a tablet or anything like that as of right now. We are stuck by just using an energy condenser, and we need to get started by, well, collecting energy from the area and sending that through an antimatter relay into an energy condenser. And thankfully, to be able to craft this is not too bad. And all we need for this is medium covalence, and we also need low covalence, both of which are fairly easy to craft. We first start by making an alchemical chest. There we go. And then we upgrade that into an energy condenser. And this is where the mod pack, in my opinion, is going to really start to open up. Now, thankfully, we are gifted a few things here. We're gifted some glowstone dust, which is really nice, but also an energy collector MK2, which is going to be very helpful. But as it's listed here, using this energy condenser, I can convert one item into EMC, and then that EMC to convert into another item without any material loss. And a really good example of this is by placing the energy condenser down and selecting the item that we want to create. For example, I want to make more glowstone. Well, I can exchange redstone for glowstone. So notice this used up 64, which is what its current value is, added it to the value, but I need to reach 384 in order for it to make a glowstone. And so there is our singular glowstone here. And the same thing would happen, for example, if I wanted to make a redstone. If I put this one glowstone in, well, it's going to make the respectable amount back that it cost in that the value of the glowstone was. But here's the catch. You can actually generate EMC from the sun, or in this case, a rather large looming black hole off in the distance. And so this can be done by using an antimatter relay, and these are rather easy for us to craft, and an energy collector. Now, the energy collector is going to cost a little bit of glowstone, so essentially we are going to have to get a bit of glowstone. An easy way to do this is by using our nether quartz. And so we can gather a little bit here and then craft the 6 needed to get ourselves started. And then the party is ready to rock and roll. All we've got to do is make ourselves a furnace for now, get our first one started. And technically we already have a MK2. And then on our energy collector, we can surround all sides of our energy condenser here with the antimatter relays. And then on the outside of the antimatter relay is where we want to put our energy condensers. And so we can actually spread it around like this, and then we can place glowstone around these. And what this is doing is harnessing that energy and converting it into EMC. Slowly, but it does do it. And the more of these that we place around, well, the faster this gets. And at the moment, the only thing limiting us from making more and building ourselves a power flower around this energy condenser, well, is glowstone. So I'm just going to leave the glowstone in here to start producing. But anything that has an EMC value, well, we should be able to put in here to make more of. And this is where, in my opinion, this entire pack changes. Because just when you thought you had to go out and harvest more of these leather scraps to make leather, well, I mean, you can just put it in here and you can just start making some more leather. I mean, it is literally just like that. So I have a lot of work to do in order to get this going. All of the sides of the energy collectors, by the way, you definitely want to put glowstone around. So I probably need to take this and move it up a little bit higher so I can inevitably build a power flower around this. And maybe even potentially having more than one of these. Maybe one on all pillars. That would be kind of cool. But this is ultimately going to take a little bit of time. It is a slow buildup because our main goal is getting all of this glowstone. But while we're working on other things, this is going to be cooking. I think here is a really good wrapping up point. A to be continued moment here, per se, as more glowstone is going to continue building up as I continue working on other things, including farming up a few more of these nasty mobs. And it looks like as we progress along in our quest book, we are only going to be working our way towards ultimately slaying hell. And boy, do I still have a long ways to go before I can do that. I am super weak still at the moment. And well, I'm going to definitely need to harness my magical skills and abilities before I can even think about taking on that god. Well, not just any god, my mother. Now, if you enjoyed today's episode and you're enjoying the mod pack thus far, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. But now, without further ado, it's time for me to thank the amazing supporter that makes these episodes possible. And that huge thanks is going to go out to Saul. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. Thank you so very much. And guys, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.